This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, October 29th, 2019, episode 250. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, check out our website. It is infectionpodcast.com. Joining me as he does each and every week from the great state of Boise, the great city of Boise City in the great state of Boise, in the great state of Idaho. Jesus. I'm all, you know.
The best place to live in the world.
Yeah, the intro screwed me up, and now I'm all over the place. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah. We'll pull this together.
I don't know. Who cares?
We'll pull together by string.
I didn't even start the topic timer. I mean, this is just a disaster.
Now everything's going to be off.
Ugh.
Could just start over. I mean, just what, DD, just start over and we'll go with it.
We're good.
People are going to have to accept us imperfections and all. Well,
I don't know what's going on.
You want to find me,
I mean,
at Boise Computer.
It's freaking ridiculous.
You want to check out my blog, biteoftech.com.
Make
sure you go to our website.
Hold on, stop. I don't even have the program open to show my desktop. That's what's going on right now.
I forgive you.
I'm sorry, Brian.
I'll talk really slowly so that you have time to pull up everything that you need.
What's the website URL, Brian?
Well, if you go to www.infectionpodcast.com, and that's with an I, by the way, infectionpodcast.com, you can go on there to the right-hand side, and you'll see a button that says Join Our Server on Discord.
Wow.
There's a great place if you want to submit news and different links that I always refer to the news channel when I'm making the show notes. So if you want to help with that, you're more than welcome to put articles in there and links to different things. Also, we have in there channels where we chat when we're doing Game of the Week. And if you just want to hang out and BS with people, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We have our Steam group.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was going to say lots of BSing going on in Discord.
Yes. Lots of shenanigans. Also, if you want to join the Steam group, you can get a notification right before the live show starts each and every week. And then we have on there show notes for now the past 250, a quarter of 1,000 episodes. And also, we have a Support Us tab if you want to support us on Humble Bundle. For instance, I purchased my copy of Call of Duty through Humble Bundle, so that we got a little kickback from that. And we have our Amazon links if you would like to do that as well. And then make sure you go and follow us on Mixer and Twitch and YouTube and all those different ways.
Figured out my problem.
Yes.
Steam was updating a game and using 70% of my disk, and I'm trying to record video, which is causing the computer, I think, be a little unhappy with all that disk utilization going on. So, thanks, Gabe.
Well, we got this.
To Epic we go. They'll never update your games because there's no games to update. So that's one benefit of using the Epic Game Store, Brian. You don't have to worry about all your games updating because there's like 7 games on the entire store. It's very, very convenient.
Which you probably have 0 installed.
That's not true. I do have Fortnite installed.
Okay, I uninstalled Fortnite, but
well, that's because you suck, I guess. Hey, we played Call of Duty.
Yes.
Thursday night. First of all, Game of the Week this week is also Call of Duty, so that's what we're playing. Thursday night, I was ready. You were ready. Actually, you weren't. I don't know if you were there. You weren't.
Yeah,
you were. You were there for a little
Thursday.
While? No, I don't remember. All right, so 9 p.m. Eastern. It's the first time they've done this in a while, since I can remember. They launched it at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Normally, it's midnight and midnight, or midnight 9, depending on how they do it. The first 2 hours, like normal, utter disaster, like it's always been in the past, except the difference between getting to play at 11 p.m. versus at 2 a.m. is a world of difference. So I played from about 11 to about 3 Thursday morning, 3 a.m. Slept for a couple hours, went to work. Friday was just an abysmal day. Terrible, exhausted. Pizza bites and Red Bull going through my body is not a good look.
The standard Call of Duty.
It was brutal, bro. About 100 pizza rolls and 8 Red Bulls, 4 liters of game fuel, Mountain Dew game fuel. I mean, it's just the ice cream. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. So we did that on Thursday. Then Friday, got home from work like an adult. Played all day on Friday. Played till about 1. then played all day on Saturday, all day on Sunday, and now here we are. It's Tuesday. We've played some more last night. Initial impressions, Mr. Bryan. First Call of Duty on a PC. This is really your second Call of Duty overall.
Yeah,
right. Let's hear.
I played a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all right. It feels it doesn't feel that different from the other Call of Duty. It seems like they're all very similar in how they play. Yeah. In this one, there's not a theme or maps that really stand out to me. I don't know. I mean, it's fun, but it doesn't seem like it seems like it's just another Call of Duty to me. I don't know, because I've tried some other ones. Like I tried, what's the one that we did
World War II?
We did World War II, where we played on a console. We played a lot of that.
Yep. Then we played that.
But then there was like Black Ops or
4. Yeah.
There was,
but nobody played
4. That. I played some of that, and this feels a lot like that without the kind of flying and stuff.
Yeah. See, I agree with what you said. Right? It's nothing special. That's what makes it so special. For original,
they're
Call
not doing anything
play.
crazy.
Exactly.
So it's just like a standard Call. It feels like Call of Duty with new. Now this is. Maybe you can inform me on this. So is this a remake? Did they reuse maps, like remake maps? Because there was the remastered.
This is not a remaster. No, this is
so this is all totally fresh. Let's
yeah.
make sure this wasn't something redone or pulled from previous.
None of those maps are from none of those maps I remember playing.
Okay.
So it's not a remaster or remake like Call of Duty 4 was. This is just Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And
okay.
I've really been enjoying it so far. I think I've got maybe 16, 17 hours, maybe closer to 20 now. I hadn't checked since yesterday. And I mean, I'm loving it. Now, like every other Call of Duty, it's got its BS, it's got its rage, it's got its lag, it's got its issues. That stuff all aside, for a game that I always played on a console, transitioning over to a PC has been very smooth. I haven't had any issues. It's so much more convenient to play. And I know people that I'm a PC gamer. I play games on PC. You don't have to tell me. I'm saying from a Call of Duty standpoint, game that is traditionally played on a console. Most people play it on a console. It was a very smooth, clean experience. I'm enjoying it. I'm not dealing with crashes, fortunately, yet. I'm not really dealing with any graphic. Like in Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, there was all these weird graphical issues, and the game just never seemed to get polished. And while it has issues, it feels like a finished, polished game, and I'm really enjoying it. And I know most of the people that we are playing with, we've got a decent group of people playing. That's good.
World War II, I didn't think was that bad, but the weapons. There wasn't enough variety in weapons. I mean, they put some kind of crazy weapons in there but I like having the sights and all these kind of mods that really make it feel like the weapons are better. And I feel like this has more of that, where they were trying to kind of stick with a realistic type of feel with World War II.
Yeah. And it's got, there's no jump. There's no, when I say jumping, I mean like extended jumping. There's no boosting. There's the sliding mechanic, which I don't really think changes the game a whole lot. I don't really have anything to say negative about it. I'm excited that I can play a Call of Duty on the PC. In terms of hackers, that's always the concern. I haven't noticed anything that has seemed like, oh, this guy's clearly cheating. There was one game last night where it seemed like the other team was getting a lot of BS kills. That was the first time. You haven't seen a guy running through the air with God mode killing everybody else. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
And I've played 16, 17, 18 hours. So I think it's a pretty fair representation. The cross-platform seems to work well. We've been playing with our buddy Musty, who's actually playing on the Xbox. He's in Discord with us, and he's on the Xbox. That seems to be perfectly fine. We're not noticing any issues.
This is where I might get like my nephew or one of my nephews to play on console, and then we could play with them still, like with the cross-platform.
Yeah.
It seems like it would work.
And we've been
playing with people on, and it doesn't seem like there's a giant disconnect between the two that I can tell. It's more of, I would assume, skill gap rather than the fact that one's playing on a console versus one's playing on a PC.
Well, and there's it's funny because PC gamers always talk about like, oh, mouse and keyboard destroy controller. And yes, if you look at them one-to-one, you're definitely more accurate. But as much as I've played and just looking at the lobbies, because it shows you in the pregame lobby who, you know, what platform the other people are playing on, I haven't noticed that like, oh, when we play against people on PlayStation, I'm kicking their ass, or vice versa. It just seems like it kind of comes out in the wash. Call of Duty is such a fast-paced game. It's not like a Battlefield or a PUBG in the extent that this... PUBG is a really skilled game, right? Like, a pleb can't jump into PUBG and win. Now, they can win a one-off, fine, but they're not going to be a good player. Somebody... And Brian, I'm going to use you as a guinea pig. This is not a shot against you. You, for the first time, played World War II 3 years ago with us. Never played a Call of Duty in the past.
Yep.
Were you competent at playing, or were you literally not getting a single kill every single game?
No, I would get some kills, but I just wouldn't get as many as everyone else.
But you weren't like, if you were to jump into PUBG right now, not playing it in a year, you'd get your ass kicked 9 out of 10 times and not get a kill away. Instantly. It's not even going to be a fair fight. So, unlike those games, which with the cross-platform, with the console versus PC, I'll entertain the argument that a PC player's got the huge advantage, and I just have not seen that yet. Now, as the skill gap expands, as people get more weapons, as I play more, we might see that come into play. But on a game like this, where you're pretty much just aiming down sight, shooting at the enemies, and using kill streaks and whatnot, with the maps aren't that crazy big. And again, not saying there's not skill, but there's not the gap of skill between good and bad players like there is in other games. So that, I think, makes that gap or that potential issue kind of non-existent. And I just haven't noticed that either side, be either PC or console, is kicking each other's ass. I just haven't noticed it. Yeah, it's come down more to strategy. I mean, we've had it to where games we've gotten slaughtered just because the other team was just playing a certain style. Like they were working together. It had nothing to do with what they were playing on, because it wasn't like they were getting shots that they shouldn't have gotten. It's just the fact that they were, you know, moving through the map a certain way or working together a certain way, covering different areas. It all came down to the style of play. Yeah, like, you know, sitting in a corner like a douchebag and waiting for people to walk into the room. You know, you'll kill me a bunch, and then I'll throw something at the wall and break it, because, you know, it's how I roll.
Punch and put a hole in the wall.
It's fine. Like don't worry about it. So yes, the different play styles and everything factor in. I haven't noticed that crazy gap yet. So Friday night. Oh, by the way, I'd recommend the game totally. For $60, you know, cash the check. I mean, I think it's worth it, and I think it's got the longevity. There's been a little bit of controversy on one mission in the campaign. I don't know if you saw anything about this. There's a mission in the campaign, and something... It's a real-world event that happened in the campaign, and in the campaign they say it was the Russians. It turns out it was the U.S., and it was some war crime or something like that. So, of course, the internet's talking about that. I don't play campaigns. So
it was in real life, it was the Russians?
No, in real life it was the U.S., and then the game, it's the Russians, and it was some, like, terrible war crime. Like, they killed a bunch of people. And... You know, of course, they're not going to say that in the game. So that's about the level of controversy that I've seen for the game. So if that's the worst thing going on, I'd say it's a good $60 investment. So that's it. Call of Duty Friday night. Join us 8 p.m. Eastern. We're looking forward to play it. We've got a pretty solid group of people. You don't have to be a pro. Oh, actually, it wasn't a war crime. It was killing the Iraqi army on their way out of Kuwait. Okay, so that's what it was. I didn't really look a whole lot into it. But, yeah, they just substituted U.S. Army for Russian Army in the game, and that was a controversy. You know, as the gaming blogs do. Speaking of the gaming blogs, I'm going to speak as a very uninformed person because I'm having a hard time finding the information. Apparently, Go Media, who owns Kotaku and Gizmodo and a bunch of these other blogs, is doing some changes about how they play advertisements on the website, and all of the employees inside. And what's the Deadspin? They own Deadspin as well. They made some changes to the websites in terms of how they display ads, and then you had employees of those websites tweeting out links to the parent company of the company they work for. Like if you work for Kotaku, the parent company is Go Media. They were tweeting out links to a Go Media submission page where people could complain about it. And there's this like big controversy going on. You've got this jackass Jason Schroeder, or whatever his name is, over at Kotaku, talking about politics in his Twitter feed, about how the alt-right is attacking him on Twitter over video. I just couldn't follow what was going on because nobody's written about it.
Yeah.
But what it seems to be is that this Go Media site changed that they're displaying way more advertisements than they were before. It's pissing users off. And now, if I'm wrong about it, it's fine. I literally spent like 25 minutes before the show trying to find somebody that wrote instead of reading through Twitter threads, because most accurate. No, because guess what? Because Twitter sucks. Every other goddamn post is content unavailable. I can't follow a freaking thread, and there's nothing written about this. So, from what I determined, that's what's going on. Go Media has bumped up the advertisements crazy amounts on their platform of websites. The journalists at these websites are pissed about it. They're attacking the company that they essentially work for, and it's just turned into a big shit show. And it seems to me that a lot of this could be averted by writing about what you're supposed to write about instead of bringing other things into your gaming or technology blog, like Gizmodo and Kotaku have, like we've been so critical about over the past couple of weeks. So no, that's kind of I don't really know what's going on. People keep an eye out on it if you see anything about it. It is something actively going on. I had to unfollow a bunch of people that I followed on Twitter, video game journalists, because now they're deciding they're going to tweet about politics all the time, and I don't really care.
I mean, is it possible that like they're risking bankruptcy, and so they're trying to? I mean there could be a number of reasons. These guys who are working there may want to consider that their job may be on the line, and this company is just doing a last-ditch effort to stay alive. And
I think that's why some of these people are being so out. I mean, bashing your employer on Twitter is retarded. Doesn't make any sense unless you intend on getting fired. And if that's the case,
a lot of times you sign something saying that you're not going to do this.
Well, nevertheless, not a good look. Like if I hated my job, the last thing I would do would go on Twitter and be like, at place I work, these people
Unless you're
suck.
Looking to get fired.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have to work there anymore.
Bingo. So maybe that's a solution. But nevertheless, keep an eye out what's going on with the Kotaku thing. And I had to unfollow a bunch of people because, again, they're talking about alt-right and politics on their gaming Twitter account. I follow them for video game news. So the ongoing saga of trying to mix politics and gaming in one platform is not working again. So
it'll be nice when gaming gets back to gaming again.
Well, I think that's kind of what you're going to eventually see. You're going to see a little bit of a correction in that. No, I think you will eventually, because these sites are going to run it. In my opinion, what's going on?
How's PAX going to handle that? What are they going to do with all the extra room in their buildings?
Okay, but let's think about this. Let's look at the example of Kotaku. And this all could be wrong based on the information I have, and I don't really give a shit. It's my opinion. They're clearly adding more advertisements to their website because they're having issues. They need more money, right? That's what you would assume. If you needed to make more money, you load your site with ads, higher CPM, more clicks, more serves of your ads. Great.
Yeah.
The reason I think you would need to do that is if your traffic is dwindling. So your traffic is dwindling, you jack up the ad rate, ding, 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 ding. Eventually you hope that levels out. In turn, if they just had to drive their traffic up, maybe they wouldn't have to put so many ads. But they can't drive their traffic up because nobody wants to go to a website that reports half on gaming, half on politics. You want to know the last time I went to any of these gaming websites? IGN, Kotaku, GameSpot, any of them? Never. I do not go to them. I do not browse them. People send me links. We talk about them on the show. Brian will send me a link. I do not browse any of those websites because there's just no interesting content on them. So,
well, and the thing is, when you go to Kotaku, that's where, so when I usually will pull up Kotaku, you just look at the articles that they're posting, and it's all opinion, very little actual news. And it's getting ridiculous. I mean, there's very little point to go look at Kotaku for any kind of real news anymore.
So you just don't go to these websites. So all that being said, I think that's what's going on. my recommendation to all these people would be focus on what people originally came to your website for. Gaming, technology in the case of Gizmodo, and maybe you'll see your traffic start driving back up. But, you know, first of all, attacking your employer, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, so PH says, you know, to be fair, they're sharing their opinion. But if you go, for instance, to PC Gamer, you go to all these sites and you click the news tab, all these opinions and political things are under news. They're not under the opinion category. Usually there are a few that are under opinion, but most of these are actually under the news category. Almost all the articles that I reference are, I just click news and go directly to that. And there's still a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, there's an article on Gizmodo on Kotaku right now about Blizzard losing sponsors over Hong Kong actions, and it's labeled just news, and there's a whole bunch of opinion on it. I'm not saying people can't have an opinion. My point is, if you want to drive more traffic to your website, don't split your listener base or your reader base in half by playing politics left versus right. That's all. That's just my opinion. So take it or leave it, but it just seems like a pretty simple fix. So I'm not sure exactly what caused all this, but something to keep an eye out on. So that's about all I wanted to mention on that regard.
All right.
With that, I have something else, and we've got a lot of news that I obviously want to get into, and I do want to thank our friend Bobby J for hitting us with the 6th month resubscription. Bobby, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Brian, I saw an interesting video this week on Twitter, and it is from a television show that is on Fox Sports 1 with Christine Leahy, and she was interviewing Mark Cuban, who owns the Dallas Mavericks, the guy from Shark Tank, and he was an early proponent of the Overwatch League and kind of esports in general. And they had a conversation about the future of esports, and I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation about that. So first, there's about a 2-minute clip here with Christine Leahy and Mark Cuban on a Fox Sports 1 show about kind of esports. So take a quick listen to that, and then I guess we'll discuss a little bit right after this.
I heard that you said that you would not buy a League of Legends team last year because of player overload.
Yeah.
Do you still think that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's done.
Yeah, I mean, you know what the meta is, right? And so they change everything all the time, whether it's Overwatch, whether it's League of Legends, Fortnite for that matter. It's not really an esport, but still, you know, when it's a 5 person team and the meta changes every 90, 120 days, it's like a whole new game. And so you have to, you know, it's so competitive and it's so mentally and physically straining that it's brutal. So that's part one. Part two is the economics. I think a lot of people who bought into teams, not the esports themselves, had no idea how bad a business it was. No idea.
Sure.
In aggregate, it's a good business. Is it growing? Yes. But domestically here in the United States, it's an awful business. And
owning a team
is an awful business. And so I think you're seeing a lot of consolidation as people get out and try to sell. You see a lot of people trying to raise more money. You see the valuations coming down, you know, and I think a lot of people who bought in didn't recognize the difference between a stream and viewer in Europe, in Asia versus a stream and a viewer here. I mean, you read Esports Observer and you see all the Twitch numbers and everything, and you see the aggregate hours. And what was it? Even with Overwatch League, 300 some thousand maximum global viewers. I forget the exact number. You know, that's not a huge number.
So where's the money at? You're an expert in this.
There's not. I mean, being in Asia, there's money, right? If you're in Korea, there's tons of money there. It's real. If you're in China, there's money there. Here, not so much. Not so much. I mean, look at what the streamers go through. I mean, Ninja kills it, right?
Yeah, they make a lot of money.
Yeah, he makes a ton of money, but he went to Mixer because to make that money, you got to stream 10 hours a day and not have a life.
All right, so interesting conversation there between Mark Cuban. There's two different parts. There's the streamer part at the end and then the esports part. And it's interesting. I never really thought about it. Like, you think about professional sports, baseball, football, basketball. those guys and gals, for the most part, from a very young age, play the game, basketball, baseball, football, and play it their entire life. The top 1% make it to be a professional athlete, and their careers, for the most part, unless you're an MVP or star quarterback, running back, whatever, are kind of, like, length isn't crazy. 10, 11 years, maybe if you're lucky. Most people 5-6 years. But so, I mean, you're talking about something that you've got 20 years experience in from start to finish, or more, depending on how long you've been playing that sport at a high level. And then it's interesting to hear Mark Cuban talk about how with these games that change, all of them, Overwatch, League, they're constantly adjusting and balancing players, that your good team could be garbage after 90 days when they update the game and nerf a player in League, or nerf a player in Overwatch, and then boost another one up. Your Reaper main now sucks, and the Mei is now the best character in the game. You don't have a Mei. So what are you supposed to fire your team?
A lot of it comes down to truly memorizing and getting to know the game. I mean, look at CS:GO. People memorize strategies, and it's repetitive. Very little changes other than they'll add new maps, rotate out different maps, but the game itself stays the same. Yeah. Right. And so you can learn some different strategies for maps and the way you do things, but you're able to generally rely on a base of the game being the exact same thing. Even StarCraft and these games, there's a reason that people go crazy on those games, is because they learn some sort of strategy, some sort of trick that then makes them try to compete to be the best in the world. Well, when you're constantly changing the goalposts, or you're constantly changing the target, it makes it very difficult for someone who's seeking to be a professional in it to really truly know if they're a professional, because a lot of it comes down to repetition. Just like with a professional sports player, they've sat there and practiced and done the same thing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times, right? Yeah. You don't change all the rules of the sport every couple of years, or as I said,
120 days,
120 days. You're not constantly changing the rules, because if you were, that's very difficult to be professional even in that. If they were constantly changing the rules in ice hockey, that would be frustrating for me, because I would be doing something out of just pure, the thing is, you want to get so good, you're not constantly having to think about every little detail.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
How long have you been playing hockey?
Since I was 7, so 32 years.
Okay. So tomorrow, you skate around in your head. That's the new rule.
No. I'm probably going to suck at it.
You're probably going to break your neck and die. I mean, that's... Yeah. So again, I'm not... Now, people in the chat are saying Mark Cuban isn't the expert in esports. Guys, we get it. Come on. I'm not saying Mark Cuban is the expert in esports, but as somebody that owns an esports team... But he understands the
economies of sports teams. He obviously knows that you can... Like, for instance, they fill arenas over... What he was talking about in South Korea. They fill arenas of people coming to watch that will buy tickets, just like they do with real, actual sports teams here, where you're going and watching people running around on a field or playing on a court. They do that with sports teams. In America, they can, but it doesn't happen on a regular basis. Like, they may have some special event where you maybe will fill an arena here, but it's not like how we fill arenas in football stadiums here, that we fill arenas with basketball teams here. That's how they do it. And so he realizes that there's money there, or even whatever people are, the numbers of people over in China, we've been talking about this for a long, long time, are so much greater, to where if they come out with something and a percentage of the viewers purchase an object or purchase something, they will make a ton of money. If a small percentage, look at some of these games we've been bringing up, they're supposedly hit games lately, and the number of players in the United States is so small. I think people would be surprised at how little sometimes of an audience there is for certain things that maybe you think that there's a big audience for. I think right now there's not.
Well, and he talked about the global viewer numbers for the Overwatch League was like 350,000. And while that is a huge number, he's looking at it from a, and by the way, I mean, I'm not a big Mark Cuban fan, but you have to have respect for somebody and at least think about their opinion, or, just think about the experience they have. And I mean, I think he can talk. I mean, he spent $45 million on an esports team back in 2017 to get the Overwatch League started when it originally started.
Yeah.
So, again, is the guy an expert in esports and gaming? No. But he doesn't say esports as a whole is useless. He just says in America, it's a terrible business. And he owns a basketball team, and he also owns an Overwatch team. And clearly he's finding that the basketball team is a whole hell of a lot more profitable and makes a lot more sense than an Overwatch team. Now, the only difference is you're not buying a basketball team for $35 million. It's worth billions of dollars. But with that being said... But you can
sit there and sell shirts that have that player's name on the back, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people will purchase them. That's not generally how it happens in a esports team.
Yeah.
You don't get the crazy fans. So a lot of times what I've seen is these players that are on these esports teams will get semi-famous on an esports team, like Shroud, right? And then they'll go out and they'll leave your team and then start making real money on Twitch or making real money on Mixer. The money is, and their fame doesn't seem to be on the forefront while they're on the esports team.
Yeah.
That seems to come afterwards. And I think that that's not good for the esports teams. And then the organization is trying to pay them because they're getting famous on Twitch because they say, hey, you know what? I played for this esports team. Now you can watch me play live. They're going to have to figure out that gap of how to make money in the United States and overcome that.
Well, and I think the question is going to be, does this market really want something like that? Is there enough interest in it? And I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing is there people find entertaining, these various people entertaining outside of it. When do you see people really get fanboying over the actual esports players? I don't see it here.
No, because they're in and out so quick. That's kind of the point that he was making, is somebody that's good for 90 days or 120 days is gone.
Yeah. They need to get it to where they have long-term, and it needs to get to where it's a regular thing where people see them on TV and people start to follow personalities on the esports team. Right now, the personalities aren't really shown. Like they made to be. H1Z1 tried to do this, having the documentary where they followed the esports team.
Yep.
And I mean, I think that's the only way you're going to do it. Having some sort of a reality show, maybe with an esports team, something to be able to get it to where people actually look at the players so that they can turn around and make some money off of it. Because right now it's just not that enjoyable because you're not invested in either the team or the players. They need to figure out how to make it real. Because in basketball, you're usually invested by demographic or just for the team name itself for some reason. Or there's people who just totally go in and follow one player.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure out how to do that and get it to where it's not just, oh, they're playing this game that I like to watch.
Or more importantly, it's they're playing this game that I like to play. See, the reason, I don't want to get into a whole conversation about it, but the difference between, I think, pro sports and esports in the regard is that I cannot go and play in the NFL. I can go play some ragtag pickup, flag football BS. I can go play in a men's softball league. But I mean, these guys are, I can go play Call of Duty. I can go play Overwatch and win. I'm not saying I'm esports level because I'm not, but I can go do that. That's, I think, the big one of the issues that esports is going to have. And I'm not one of these people that goes, esports is an actual sport. I think it can be. Clearly, Mark Cuban thinks it can be outside of the U.S., but that's going to be the kind of the question: is at what point do people want to watch people play the game instead of playing them themselves? And that's
well, and they're going to have to figure out how to. I mean, look at what these Twitch streamers do. They get people to make the highlight reels of really crazy plays, amazing shots. I don't see that for esports. I don't see people making big highlight videos of one player and look at these crazy, ridiculous plays that he did, or the shots that he made. I only see them for Twitch streamers. Well, the esports teams need to start getting. I think the esports teams are really worried that they're going to promote an individual player too much, and then they're going to start demanding more money, which is already a fickle business that's difficult to make money in the United States. I think they're worried if they promote the player too much, the player is going to say, you know what, I made this organization, I need more money, just like they've done in all these other professional sports teams.
Yeah, but basketball's about to go through this right now. But literally, as we speak, the NBA is dealing with the same thing. You've got players that are forcing themselves to other teams because they have got so much individual power. It's going to be very interesting to see how the NBA handles. NBA is one of the largest sports in the world. They're dealing with that right now. So esports as a whole, probably fine. But it was just interesting to hear from somebody that has invested their own cash into it that it's not a great business in the US. So interesting video there from Mark Cuban and Christine Leahy over on Fox Sports 1. So I thought that was interesting. Came across it this week and thought it was a good conversation. So there you go. We've got a lot of other general gaming news I want to get into. Do you want to cover a couple survival games first and then come back to some of that stuff, or do that stuff first?
Sure. No, that's fine. You have a preference on where we go first? Yeah,
let's talk about Fallout 76.
Favorite game.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, I'm a big fan. I bought the game on Black Friday last year. I believe I played about 3 hours of it. And they have announced a new update for the game. And it's called Fallout First. Fallout 76 Fallout First is what it's called. And it's a subscription membership platform, which is rather interesting. And here are some of the things that you get as a member to this platform. First, you get private worlds. You get to play in a private world exclusively for you and up to 7 friends. Single player co-op. Scrap box, unlimited storage for crafting components in your own new sandbox container. So you get that. The survival tent, a new placeable fast travel point with a stash, sleeping bag, and more of your basic needs, probably a cooking grill and some other things to do. Atoms, you receive 1,650 atoms per month to use at the Atomic Shop. It's an in-game currency. The Ranger Armor outfit, an iconic Fallout outfit exclusively for members. And then you get unique emotes, icons, and other fun in-game things that you can use in-game.
Yeah.
So, that's very interesting, Brian. We're seeing this from Fallout 76, especially since the first one is, I don't know, literally being able to play alone, like literally single player. Now, how much would you pay for a service like that, Brian? You think maybe it's a yearly price, right? Fallout 1, maybe it's $30 a year? What do you think?
Yeah, I would pay $19.99. How about that?
For the year?
Yes.
It's $13 a month for this service. $13 a month.
To be able to play in a private world?
Yes, sir. Plus emotes and a stash and some other stuff. You can buy a 12-month membership.
Not a ton of people are playing.
You can buy a 12-month membership for $100 a year. So it's $833 a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's like WoW level. And the thing with WoW is they have servers and all these other things. And like, this is, I can't imagine that their private servers are really that great, because their public servers are what, 16 people?
Yeah, something like that. So here's the question.
So instead you're getting one that has 5 people or something?
Yeah, up to 7, so 8 people.
7.
Yeah, half. It's essentially half. So here's the question for you, Brian. I see 2 options here. 2 things.
Yes.
This is either somebody is very, very stupid and thought this was a good idea. It's feasible, right? Big companies have the high up people that say, "Oh, this is a great idea," and then they push it. They just ignore everybody else's advice and make them push it to market. Or are they really hurting for cash in Fallout 76 and they need to make some more money on this game? And this is there's no cost associated to anything they're doing. It's all digital goods, except maybe the server spin-ups, but everything else is digital.
Why not make the game free to play? Since they're focusing so much on emotes, outfits, skins, atoms, like things that you're actually purchasing a currency in game. Why not make the game free to play? Because if I'm paying $100, you better give me a free copy of the game.
Yeah, does it come with a free? No, I think you still have to buy it.
No, it's a separate thing. It's a membership. So that's what I'm saying is, why not make the game free to play and then start piecemealing out some of these things and then have a special edition that's $100 a year? I just don't get why they're charging full price for the game and then doing all this as well. That's what rubs me wrong is I paid for a game and now you're wanting to charge me $100 a year minimum. I mean, that's if you're taking the 36% discount.
Judd says it seems like a cash grab to him. By the way, their private server does not support modding. So it's literally just a vanilla server, and you can just invite friends to your world, but only if the owner is currently playing in the world. So it's not like you have a server. It's like a Minecraft. So, it's like a Minecraft. The on Xbox and PlayStation, you have like a Minecraft server, not a realm. You would have a locally hosted server. What's the other game? Come on, plane crash game.
The Forest?
The Forest, prior to their current thing. This is exactly what the Forest was. Join me, and while I play. If I have to go, I don't know, to work or do other things that I have to do in my real life, no, can't play. Server's offline. It's not a server. It's like literally a shared
for $100, I better have my own instance.
No,
I mean that persistent instance, which sounds like it's not. And then they have the scrap box. So the scrap box has unlimited storage for scrap. Yeah, and but I heard that there was a bug that it was having big problems. It was turning everything into scrap.
I have no idea. It's all virtual. That's my point. This is why to me it seems like a cash grab, because they are not literally providing anything. It's
except for virtual items.
Yeah, which are some zero cost thing for them to produce.
Or PH says it wiped everyone's scrap. So that thing just like erased everyone's scrap.
And here's the best part. The rule set, including awards and drop rates, are the same as an adventure mode on a public world and not possible to be changed. Nothing. There's no customization. There's nothing.
Oh, is that supposed to be a feature? This is purely vanilla and you can't do anything about it. Feature.
It is no different. Again, I'm telling you, it is no different than a Minecraft or Ark. Maybe Ark is a little bit different on the console, or like an Atlas world on a console, a locally hosted peer-to-peer world. There's no difference. You get nothing except they're charging you $13 a month or $100 a year. I mean, what the hell are they thinking?
Yeah.
They went from a game that had terrible PR to a game and a company that's an absolute laughingstock. This is a joke.
And this will be really interesting to see where they go from here. I mean, that we've talked about this a little bit, but I'm just nervous about their brand overall. I think that they're so susceptible now to bad press when they weren't before, because everyone gave them the Fallout pass, I guess you could say. They made Fallout, they're okay, but now look at this. This is branded as Fallout. People are willing to look at them and not through rose-colored glasses anymore.
I'm the FO76 subreddit, as you would imagine, Brian, was not the most welcoming group of people out there, which I know has come to huge shock to you. But I typically am somebody that will not take internet. I'm typically somebody that will not take one section of the internet's outrage and magnify to the point where it's like, oh, the whole community says this sucks. I have not seen a single positive comment anywhere. I've not read a positive comment. I've not seen anybody being like, oh, this is a freaking great idea. Nowhere. Non-existent.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say that genuinely nobody thinks this is a good idea. And I mean, there's an article over here on IGN, and the headline of it, and they go through a couple of examples, is that even Fallout 76's most loyal supporters are pissed.
Yep. It shows a very big disconnect. That's where I was saying, if they would have turned around and said, all right, the game is free to play because we want to get more players and we're going to be offering these extra features as bonus, or, we'll have it to where the currency is going to, sort of a kind of a pay to win, I guess, currency, you could say. They're not going to say that, but I think that would make more sense. But asking for $100 from players to really get nothing. I mean, they're treating this like a mobile game right now, as far as how games will try to get money on a mobile platform. they're doing this on a desktop. And that's odd.
This is interesting. And this is a backfire. PH, I want to thank him for posting that. There's an article or a post on the Fallout 76 subreddit 2 days ago that says, so when you purchase this thing, you get a like an emblem on your name or a tag or something that indicates you're a member. Well, this guy says that people are ganging up on Fallout First subscription players in adventure mode and griefing them because they probably have better shit than everybody else, and they're carrying a whole hell of a lot more of it. So they
got more scrap. They got everything.
Yeah. So he joked and said they've added a new enemy to the game. People that actually purchased it. So now people are just ganging up on paid.
Remember they delayed the NPCs, so this is their.
Yeah.
They could be NPCs.
So if you are a paying subscriber to this platform and go an adventure game, you're probably going to get targeted because you most likely have better stuff on you.
Yep. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so you never answered my question though. Is this terrible idea by executive or terrible cash grab?
I think it's someone just incredibly out of touch. I think the Fallout team, I think it's kind of like H1Z1. Remember, we've looked at some of the things they did and said they're so out of touch with reality, like their own little bubble. They probably have people when they go to trade shows that are just worshiping the ground they walk in because they're Fallout and they're Bethesda. I think that that's probably the same thing. And I bet you these guys never go and look at the Reddits and never go look at the comments. And they've kind of cushioned themselves to where they don't realize how poorly they're looked at currently out in, I guess, the internet world. I think they're pretty out of touch, and they think, oh, people will like this. I mean, I don't know how they look around the numbers, the player numbers. I mean, that would be a nice reality check. If I assume they know what those numbers are. But I just think that they're out of touch with it. They think, there are people, they're probably one thing in the gaming industry, there's a term where you pretty much have your cash cows. They call them whales, right? I think that this is aimed at the whales. They know that there's a high percentage of people that will turn around and throw money because they don't care. Just like Twitch has their whales. There's people that will throw money at something and they're like, hey, let's just throw this out there for the whales. They'll have something that makes their life easier. There will be a a certain percentage of people that will purchase this. Most people will not use the private servers, so it's really going to be a pass off for us. I think that that's how they're looking at it, not looking at the general community.
I think that's a very interesting assessment. The future of Fallout 76 does not appear to be a bright one, and I would be shocked. I mean, the game's already $40. Like instantly, the game went from $60 to $40. I do agree with you. I think the idea of doing it as a free-to-play game and adding a bunch of things as pay-for things might be a solution, possibly. But at this point, I don't think there's any hope. I think that ship sailed. That ship. I mean,
short of them, I don't see the player numbers really jumping up or anything. But they don't care about player numbers so much because you have so few people in an instance. It's kind of like its own little private world. So like there's no real point other than if they really start trying to make money off of these little gimmicks that they're going to make a bunch of money. I think that they're going to start throwing gimmicks, and maybe we will see eventually a free to play and then them really focusing kind of and treating it like a mobile platform. That's just everything I see. They're treating a PC platform like a mobile platform and how they're trying to make money. And maybe they're doing it because, remember Fallout Shelter? Maybe you have some executive who's so out of touch. He says, oh, Fallout Shelter made money doing this, this, and this. And maybe that's the direction they're going to start going.
Spicy Maestro on Mixer says, yes, free please. It's probably a good idea just from a people will be talking about or maybe seeing their friends or hear their friends.
They'll probably make more money in the end.
But I mean, the half of it is making money on the game. Half of it is people telling people that they are playing a game and saying, hey, come play this with me. And
how many people have you seen playing Fallout 76?
Non-existent.
Saying I'm playing Fallout.
None.
The last person I saw playing Fallout 76 was PH when it was rubber banding everywhere, like in the first week.
I watched I don't remember who I saw playing it most recently. It's been a long time. And part of that, say what you want, is the fact that it's on battle.net. I'm not anti-launcher. Or excuse me, it's on yeah, it is. It's on oh no, it's not. It's on Bethesda's
Bethesda
launcher.
launcher.
Bethesda net or whatever it's called. Part of that is that nobody really uses that launcher. That's a problem. So there's no friends list, but in Discord I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
I mean, I don't see our Discord
I don't see it showing up on Twitch's top games either.
No, that's an understatement.
You know, so yeah, it's just odd. And I don't know, other than I think their best bet is free to play and then get people at least playing it. And I think that'll make it to where people, if they feel like they fixed the game and it's worth playing again, that may be what it takes to get people in there to actually say, hey, you know what? It's not that bad now. Because there's so many people who played it day one and they're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to get NPCs in there. That's not even going to be until next year. So the game's really not changing that much.
I think it's probably time for something to be moved on.
And one thing they are,
Whoa,
I'm just
whoa.
going to mention some of the events they're doing.
Yeah.
So the October 29th, so today through the 12th, they are doing their Halloween themed cosmetic rewards. So there's 6 different rewards you can get, and they have challenges that you can do through the 12th. For instance, like a jack-o'-lantern, bat themed weapon, armor, paints, things like that. And then they are having it to where you have a Halloween themed vault currently. And then they said on here that they're doing Mischief Night, and that's through November 5th. And this is, there's a resort in the game, and it's a seasonal event. So if you log in there, you head to some gazebo and you meet up with a robot, because of course they can't have NPCs. And then they take you on a tour of this resort. So,
Wow.
I don't know.
I do. Jay Delory just pointed out that the top streamer on Twitch right now has 100 people watching. There are 352 viewers total across the entire 350. Imagine how many people are playing this game.
Not that many.
Couple thousand, maybe.
Well, yeah, it's just very strange. Now, as far as the lore of this,
okay,
how are they going to work NPCs into this? Because
I don't know.
This is the first vault, right? That's supposed to be released, if I remember correctly.
Something like that. I'm a little.
I think this is
salty on my.
I think they kind of changed the lore and they broke some rules from what I remember originally when they did this. But I thought that there are other vaults on the map, but I think this is supposed to be the first one that opens. And then I thought everyone was dead. You know, that's out on the outside, maybe. I don't know. This will be interesting. This would have been the perfect opportunity for them to really tell a story of the first vault. And they did it in such a way that they can't even really tell a story with it. They've failed so miserably at actually telling a story where we have no clue what really happened. Where this should have been them saying, hey, when the first people came out of the vault, all this cool stuff happened. And that I just feel like they've dropped the ball so heavily on that, to where when you could have said, hey, here's people that survived outside, and here's, you know, you have these mutants, and you have these people that there's a lot of cool stories they could have told, but they can't because they have no NPCs in the game. So
I think there's a lot of cool things they could have done if they would have just stuck with what worked, and without trying to sound like an old fogey that goes, oh, nothing should ever change. You know, that's not, I understand how innovation comes. It comes by making mistakes, but I don't think anybody thought this was a good idea originally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of what people love about Fallout is the story that you figure out of what happened and kind of going through it. And that's the thing that they totally ignored in this.
Yeah.
There is no story.
That's what I'm saying is, like, my criticism of Fallout is not the fact that they tried to make a multiplayer game. It's that they took away the entire game. Like, the whole point of the game. They took it away. So it's not that the game was just online. It's that they literally got rid of the main functionality and existence of Fallout, which was exploring the world and being told a story through missions, which involved NPCs and just things around the world. They got rid of all of that.
Yep.
So, I'm not anti-innovation, but you have a working strategy. Why screw with it? And it's a miserable failure, I think, is an accurate term. This is an abysmal failure from Bethesda.
Yeah.
This game is a joke. There's 352 people playing it, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this is a game that, or a studio that has released some of the top games in history. So
I just don't get it.
I don't know what else they're expecting to do. They're going to have to figure it out.
There are more people watching Fallout 4 than are watching Fallout 76. The guy that's streaming has 105 people on Fallout 4. He's got more people than Fallout 76.
Probably because, with a small thing, it's just, I don't know. People just probably don't find it interesting because there's not anything really happening. There's probably very little fuel for the more entertaining streamers to even go off of. Before they kind of went off of the, look at all these bugs, this thing's falling apart, that. But then there's a point where people want to have interactions and things happening in the game that I think you just probably don't get a ton of in this.
Yeah. I don't know.
So we'll see what happens. And they've got some time going forward. We'll see if they actually learn from this mistake, and see what happens.
It's about time.
So do you mind if we go on to another thing here?
No, sir.
Okay. So there's an interesting announcement that happened with Nvidia.
Okay.
And we've talked about, remember I've gave things on how to use reshade, especially with PUBG. But they're going to be introducing, now reshade is where there's filters that you can adjust the effects of lighting and how the colors and the saturation, a lot of things with how a game is displayed or anything that uses 3D is displayed. And they're going to be putting that into NVIDIA's drivers here this week. And so if you do an update of your driver, they should start building, which people were using it for PUBG to be able to kind of fix the coloring and fixing the shadows and the brightness. But this gets labeled as a cheat.
Yes.
A lot of times because it injects itself into the process. And so this is something that they are now going to be integrating into the driver itself. And this is going to be in the experimental stage, but I'm going to be interested to see how this affects. I'm assuming at this point now they can't label it as a cheat. I'm assuming it's now injecting itself at a level high enough into the actual driver.
It'll be the opposite. Video. It'll be a lower level.
Lower level.
It'll be a lower level.
Yeah. A more
injection. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
A lower level injection, but a more difficult level. It's actually doing it at the driver level.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Block the GeForce experience as a virus?
Yeah.
as a cheat? That ain't
so I think that this will be interesting to see. That they have that GeForce experience where you can go in and have it optimize the drivers. I'm assuming they're going to do it there, to where you can also kind of adjust the look and pick from a pre-selected list of shaders and maybe tweak it yourself. So it may work out really well. It used to be something that I did use, but of course, getting labels as a hack and having so many issues, it's something that pretty much you had to stop using without risking getting banned from PUBG, Fortnite, and a lot of these other places. I didn't see Fortnite caring so much.
Our friend Judd on Mixer is saying then the hackers figure out how to utilize that, which is obviously a concern. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, okay, so much. Okay, but let me counter that a little bit, because I think the issue with Reshade was that hackers were mimicking the actions of Reshade, and they're trying to make themselves look like the Reshade process in order to inject hacks. At this level, I don't think that there will be any injection that you could mimic, because it's going to be at the driver level. So I think it'll make it even less of a problem, because they're not having to make any kind of exceptions or ignore anything in order to let Reshade happen. I don't think that the games that themselves were even noticed that it's happening anymore. Where before they just saw that something was injecting into the process and it was trying to do all these different things. Hackers could then mimic and say, "Hey, we're just reshade. Don't worry about us. Do things on the process.
Nothing to see here. Yeah, nothing to see."
So I think that was more of the issue, to where I think this will kind of take away. Maybe this is why they're doing it, because they like the benefits of reshade, but there was no way to do it without having it at this level, without having to ignore and say, all right, we're going to let reshade go. It may be doing things that we find suspicious, but let's ignore it because people like it. They quit doing that. And I think this now will make it to where probably it doesn't have to ignore anything. It's, it would be they're not going to pretend to be the Nvidia driver.
Well, I'm sure like anything else, there will be a way to exploit it and a way to exploit it and get access.
Well, they may be able to make it so where they can see things that now, is it really exploiting though, if everyone has the ability to do it? Like as far as changing your colors to where maybe you can see people easier and things like that.
That is a question.
This will be an argument, I think we'll hear.
It's a question that we've had many times, and
PH does bring up an interesting point too. AMD users, so people that are using AMD video cards, won't have this option, so they're kind of at a disadvantage.
Sucks to be them.
Yep. So we'll see. So I thought that was interesting that they're, because this was a big issue when it came up, where people, I remember bringing up on here, PUBG says no longer ignoring reshade. You will get banned.
Well, we've seen this a whole bunch. And we've had this conversation kind of in the past. At what point does either a game, or in this case, a driver allowing you to do something become a cheat? There's a line somewhere. Yeah. Question is, where is the line? And I don't think we have. I sure as hell don't have the answer. I don't know if you do. I don't.
No, but I think that this is kind of giving everyone access to do the same things. As far as everyone is an Nvidia user, access to do the same thing, and so I don't see as much of an issue with it. Short of, everyone, as PH says, is not as smart as others. So there's a lot of people that will never go in here and actually do this. But for the people that are hardcore, that care about this sort of thing, they'll go in and they'll make these changes. I think good for them. I don't see a real big issue with reshade in the ways that it's been used in the past, when it's not being, it's not hiding some sort of a cheat. Generally it does just tweak it. We used reshade in what was it? We used it in PUBG. We used it in what's the space game?
Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous. I mean, Elite Dangerous, it did an amazing job of just improving the lighting and making some really cool effects. So I think it'll be okay. People will realize that wasn't the problem. It was the fact that something was having to be ignored that could be mimicked.
Yeah,
was the real problem with reshade.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see what comes of this. And this is going to be one of these things that depending on the developers aren't going to have a choice. This is no longer going to be their battle to fight. I mean, once this is injected at the driver, that's it.
Yep.
So there you go.
All right. Do you want to do the game giveaway really quick?
Yeah. What's the game giveaway? What are we doing?
All right. Well, first of all, if you type !giveaway in chat, and we're doing 60 cans for this. We've been watching for the past hour, which we've been streaming for over an hour now. Hey-o. So you should be able to do that. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus. You can try to pronounce that if you would like.
Mechanicus.
Mechanicus, whatever it is. In this game currently is $29.99 on Steam. Very positive ratings. So if you're interested in that, it is a Warhammer 40K strategy turn-based tactics game.
Excellent.
So,
yes, join us. Well, hopefully you're already here, but go ahead and enter for that ! giveaway. All right, Brian, we are an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and we have covered 4 things.
Yeah, what did I say? Did I say? I'd say Mechanicus. I don't even know what I said.
I don't know.
Mechanicus, whatever it is.
What? I mean, what are we gonna do? We got to wait. I mean, okay.
We touched a few topics.
We touched 4. I'm looking at my notes.
Okay.
You want
Okay. How about we last Oasis? Remember last week you were upset their gameplay video was less than 30 seconds of actual gameplay.
17, I believe.
17 seconds of actual gameplay, and now they have released a gameplay trailer that has a more extended amount of gameplay. 2 minutes and 28 seconds of, well, minus the intro and the exits and everything else.
All right.
Of gameplay.
Let's take a look. Yeah.
So
that was
there you go.
Atrocious.
They're showing the very basics of the survival
First of all, the inventory sounds sounded like a 90s MMO. Like the click was like it's not, it literally sounded like a 90s website with the crazy click effects. And the whole video showed them hitting a bush with some sort of weapon, riding around on their stupid little arm mechanical machine looking thing, and then a guy going, ugh. That just summarized 2 minutes. I just summarized 2 minutes and 28 seconds in less than 10 seconds here on the program.
Yeah, and
there's the trailer. See you next week.
Well, and look at like the text. I had a hard time reading what it was saying.
What? Get a goddamn voiceover. What? I mean, what is this? Your gameplay trailer is a bunch of crappy like halfway slide over middle thirds.
But look, some of that font was used in the actual game. Can you go back to it? Go look at the in-game font, because there was one that they were doing with the slide overs.
Yeah, let me.
But the actual in-game font is that same font, and it was really hard to read.
Yeah. I see it when you like look over items. Yeah. The item loot. Yeah.
Like what's that say? Show equipment. It's kind of hard to see from here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just looks kind of odd. I mean, it's kind of odd.
Yeah. What is it? Hang on, let's see. We'll zoom in on this. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, look at the top font.
Yeah.
Basswood
textile line.
bracers. That just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it just seems like they could go through. Well, I'm looking at PH is saying it's not that hard to see. Oh, I'm looking through the replay of the video that's being sent back to me at
the point is, this is a terrible trailer. You posted the link to this YouTube video. Does it have a decent? What's the ratio look like on this?
117 upvotes, 8 downvotes.
So only got 3,000 views.
Yeah, 3,400 views.
I feel like there should be the font. Grapple looks fluid. I want to see videos on rating. Yeah.
Someone says the fact that the walker didn't hit a single tree still impresses me. Okay, well, most likely the hitbox for the tree is really small then. They're not having any kind of collision with the branches or anything else.
I can't imagine they thought that was their best product that they could release. I cannot imagine they think that is the best thing. Brian, if I had to tell somebody, hey, I do a podcast, it's called Infection Podcast, and I showed them the beginning of this show, which we had multiple technical issues, it'd make me a jackass. I'd be like, hey, check out this other show. Like, I don't know, maybe last week when we had no issues on the intro. But like, I mean, we had to redo the intro today because the video started skipping. Only the live show people saw it. That would be like me sending that to somebody and be like, hey, I do this as my podcast.
Yeah, here's my best of.
I mean, that's just a joke. I'm supposed to give these people money for early access? I'm fine with a non-finished product. Stop giving it unrealistic expectations.
Well, and I think that part of this was these videos and the demos that they're showing. I think it's very similar to the ARC videos and demos that you see. We know after having seen enough of them that the videos that they do that are the teasers are nothing like the game.
Oh, of course.
Well, if you look at the combat, and that's mostly what I was curious of. We don't see any kind of combat in here other than something far away shooting. But them jumping and raiding another craft and having that fluid movement that they were showing. I think that is something that they haven't shown off at all, and I'm interested to see if the actual gameplay is anything like that, because this is a very basic survival. What they're showing is a very basic survival game.
Now there's two schools of thought on this. One is like the ARC approach, which is make an unrealistic trailer, but the point of a trailer is to hype people up and get them to buy something. Okay, that's one idea. Then there's maybe the second school of thought, which is maybe this, which is literally just record gameplay with OBS, edit it into a YouTube video, add some graphics to it, and call it a day. I think the line is somewhere in the middle, where you show some gameplay, spice it up a little bit. Maybe you do some stuff that's in engine instead of in game, and you sexify it a little bit. I don't know, but this gameplay trailer that they released, this 2 minutes and 28 seconds, does not make me want to buy this game at all. It doesn't show anything, Brian.
I know. Well, it shows very basic survival game.
The survival game
features.
kit has got more out of base mechanics than this has right now.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can make a better trailer.
Other than the vehicle, you could have everything that they showed.
You could make a better. I'm convinced with download could just download the survival game kit and make a better trailer for a game than what we just saw. It wasn't a trailer.
No,
it was just it just looked like the hodgepodge.
He looted something that was on the ground.
It just looked like
he rode a vehicle through some trees.
Just a bunch of garbage cobbled together and said, ship it. By this, after they delayed it and released a trailer for their gameplay trailer. A trailer for their trailer.
That was only about a quarter the size of the this one. Actually, it was a half. I think this trailer, the teaser for the trailer, was half the size of the actual trailer.
I want this game to be good. I'm always interested in another survival game, a new survival game, something that's fun. It's always been me. But you got to give me something to look forward to. And this ain't it. I'm sorry.
We'll see.
And the title of this video was New Fast Looting Trailer.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Fast looting? I picked up a freaking tree branch and a cape. I mean,
yeah. And now they didn't show. That's the thing, is they showed an already dead player on the ground, right? They didn't show any of the combat of actually killing each other. They just said, "Oh, here's another player. I'm going to go loot him to show that the looting works."
Wow.
So how about we go to the opposite end of this and take a look? Battlefield 5 put out a trailer for, I assume this is going to be a DLC, right?
Yeah.
Let's play this, because now they're the opposite. Very little gameplay usually.
Okay.
But I want to know if you would be willing to play this after, because this trailer, I was pretty amazed when I saw it.
All right, let's take a look. After we watch this rated M screen. All right, here we go.
Support is on the way.
So this is the Battlefield 5 Pacific DLC, available October 31st. So that is Thursday. And okay, so your point with this was to illustrate the two different kinds of trailers. So
yeah, one thing I found interesting about this one though is I've never seen them balance out the two sides before like that. Like they didn't put, of course, with the Nazis, they never say, "Hey, you know, the Nazis are equal to everyone else."
Okay.
But on this, I think they did a good job of showing the two sides. And I mean, everyone in the trailer died. I mean, nobody lived. There wasn't a good guy, right? I think that they were trying to like make it look like, okay, you can play on either side. There's not one side to this. I thought it was interesting how they actually did this trailer.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that as much as I was. Okay. So while this trailer is a completely inaccurate representation of the game,
it's entertaining.
Well, that's the question here. Without getting into a crazy long tangent about it, the goal of a trailer is to sell the game. right? They make their money on the sale. They don't make the money on what you think of the game after. They make the money on the sale.
Yep.
So I'm not saying that the Battlefield trailer is better than the last Oasis trailer.
You could say that it's nowhere near accurate to what the actual game feels like.
But I'd be more willing.
One other one is probably 100% accurate of what the game feels like right now.
But the question is, which one is more likely to get you to buy something? And I would say that the Battlefield trailer, being as unrealistic as it is,
people want to be lied to.
Well, that's advertising. I mean, the whole point. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you ever watch?
You lie to me well enough.
You ever watch a McDonald's commercial on TV? You see what those burgers look like? Oh, they look great. What about a Taco Bell commercial? You see what those tacos look like? You go in there, it looks like somebody shit on a tortilla and served it to you. I mean, advertising, that is exactly what advertising is. So, while I'm not saying me as a gamer like the Battlefield trailer better, it is more likely to get me to buy it than Last Oasis. That's all.
Yeah, and I think that they need to get an in-between of that. Let's put a little bit of flash, because in all the previews that we saw before this, it was like 100% flash. Now they're actually having to show some gameplay. Well, they need to come up with a balance to where the gameplay isn't so raw. Because right now it's just like you jumped in and here's a couple minutes of me riding around. Now, when people are seeing the official, teased first release of gameplay, they want to have a little more than that.
Yeah, agreed. I like the idea of a middle ground, and I think Arc actually does a pretty decent job with theirs. Theirs are in-engine rendered, but aren't Conan, by the way, does a good job with their trailers too. It's like it's in-engine, it's rendered, but it's not like that Battlefield is.
You'll see scenes that are kind of set up but it's not 100% accurate. Yeah.
This Battlefield one was like a movie. It was like a CGI movie, completely
where it's like I have no idea. There'll be kind of general things happening in the game that are somewhat. You'll be able to go up to something and shoot from it, but it's not going to feel anything like. It's like you get into the game and it's like, oh, this doesn't feel anything like what I just watched.
Yeah. Good contrast, Brian. Spot on. That was good. I really like that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Definitely two different sides.
Well, while we're speaking about Battlefield, we had some interesting news this week from our Lord and Savior's EA. Now you're familiar. They've got their Origin platform, similar to Battle.net and their platform, and Bethesda and their platform, and Epic and their platform, and Steam and their platform. It's a game launcher, game marketplace.
Yep.
But some rumblings were heard earlier this week when EA tweeted out a picture of a coffee cup and
had some steam
coming out of it. And then we got an article today that that EA, with their games and their EA Access subscription program, is coming to Steam. So they're going back to Steam, and they're kicking it off with their Star Wars Jedi Fallen, which you can pre-order now, that comes out on November 15th. And in the coming months, you'll be able to play games like The Sims, Unravel 2, Apex Legends, wink wink, FIFA 20, Battlefield 5. They'll all be available early next year. And players on both Origin and Steam will have the ability to play together. So, what do we think? Is this the market recorrecting itself? And EA is the first one to realize dealing with our own launcher is a huge pain in the ass?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people, they have found that a lot of people just don't use Origin. The interface is a pain. They have to worry about all the security stuff. And if you're not going to take it seriously, it's difficult when a company tries to only have a launcher for their own games. It's hard to be profitable. Epic isn't doing that. Epic started with a launcher for their own game, right? But now they sell other games.
Yeah.
This one was all EA games, and then they didn't do a good job with the launcher, and people didn't want to launch it because it sucked. And so I think that this makes more sense for them.
Well, that's a key that you just touched on. Obviously, we know the internet. Oh, launchers, but Origin is a piece of garbage. It's buggy. It never works. The UI sucks. It's just not a good platform. I have it installed. I use it, but it's just not good. So it's not. I don't. let's make sure we bring that into the equation here. It's not like EA had a rock star of a product and they're like, oh, we'd rather be on Steam. Origin's been garbage since day one. It's constantly asking me to update it, even though I don't use it. Every time I open it, I have to struggle to figure out how the hell to get to my game library. There's all these games on there that I don't own that are in my library because it's trying to sell me their EA Access program. It's not a good launcher. So do you think now we will start seeing others follow suit? What about Uplay? The next company to this seems to be Ubisoft. They're the similarly sized publisher.
I think if they see this is successful, probably a year down the road, I think if they consider it successful, then you would be likely to see Uplay possibly follow suit. I mean, Uplay is open to change. Ubisoft, look what they did with. We talked about them going to Blender. I mean, that's a huge change. Obviously, there's someone in the company who is forward thinking, right? That is trying to figure out how to stay ahead, how to make the most money, how to make the most of their money. And so I think that if they view that as successful, if it economically seems like it worked for them, I think that they will follow suit. Now, one thing, you're seeing less exclusives. First of all, one thing I saw on the Epic launcher was they're selling Red Dead Redemption 2.
Really?
That's not exclusive. So we originally saw all these exclusives on Epic, but obviously that's not 100% true because Red Dead Redemption 2 is not exclusive to the Epic launcher.
Interesting.
So I think that you will see possibly Epic maybe loosening the restrictions a little bit and then having these other ones kind of be on both platforms. I think you're going to start seeing
Borderlands on here
Epic,
too.
Yeah, I think that you're going to start seeing Epic kind of back off on that exclusivity. I think they just were doing that initially to get people on there, but I think you're going to start seeing that this is kind of both sides, or they'll just list wherever and not have to deal with it themselves.
Yeah, and when a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 is on here, the question is going to be for Epic is how can they make it better than Steam? And at the same price, in my opinion, you're stupid to buy it on Epic because Steam's got way more features and everything. So, but can Epic offer the game for $55?
So here's where Epic is going to be. Here's where Epic's going to kind of have the market on this, though. Steam does not offer cross-platform services, right? Epic will be.
They don't
Epic
yet.
Is not yet, but I'm saying when they do, and they start having cross-platform voice chat, cross-platform friends lists. At this point, I think you'll start to see them be a little bit different and have actually something to say, hey, here's why you'd want to use us. Right now, they don't have that.
No. Why? I mean, at $59.99, I don't know why anybody would buy this game on Epic unless you had credit on the store or something.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and PH is pointing out, they'll open that up to every game. But that's the point, is they will have that in every game, even on the Steam platform. It will say it's using Epic services. So I think that it's just going to make them a little bit more of a hey, our name is out there. You're not seeing Steam's name being put on the launch screen. It's going to be Epic because they're using their services. So it's brand recognition. People will see Epic, and it will make it to where it's less of the kind of other launcher.
Yeah. I have a feeling this EA thing is the beginning of market correction. And we're going to start seeing a lot. Like Rockstar literally just created their own launcher for 2 games. It'll be, I think EA maybe they have started the ball rolling down the hill. The avalanche starts with one snowball, right? Isn't that what they say? So,
yeah,
but who knows? Again, I'm not on the side that Steam is the greatest thing ever, but if you have a couple of these platforms that all decide Steam, you know what, we gave this a try, it's just not worth it. Well, whoever the best platform is will win. If it's Steam, it's Steam. If it's Epic, it's Epic.
Yeah, and whichever one, I just think that their Epic is going about a little bit different of a game plan to get there. And if it improves the market and makes, if it improves the markets and makes things better, if they kind of fix the seam between PC and consoles of making it to where we actually have in-game voice chat that works across all Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, I'm perfectly happy that they've done it.
Like a Discord
thank you for coming to
chat
market and doing it.
Across
that's what they're working on.
Yeah.
Is it'll be inside of the client. It'll be in the game, a built-in voice chat that works across all 3 platforms.
That'd be cool.
We don't have that right now.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I take that back. Call of Duty, we have been hearing voice chat in there from consoles.
But that's different.
I haven't figured out how exactly, if it's working for PlayStation,
it does,
and Xbox.
It works. Yeah, absolutely.
All 3 hear each other.
Yeah, but that's a little bit
they're
different.
Hosting
but
it themselves then.
They are, but that's not a global. When I think of a global chat system, I think of Discord
with
running.
The friends list, and
I think of Discord running on your Xbox or your PlayStation. You chat in Discord on your PlayStation, not just in the game. I mean, cross-platform chat has existed in a whole bunch of games.
But the thing is you can't friend somebody on PS4 and then have a friends list with those people that's not inside of the game. I think that's going to be their selling point.
Yeah, who knows? So interesting.
Because then people will have to have it launched so that then they can create groups with their friends on Epic, through Epic they can create a squad that is PS4, Xbox, and PC people.
Exactly.
They're going to have to do that, and then they can manage their friends list and chat with them outside of the game in the Epic launcher.
Bingo. So yeah, interesting news from EA, and we'll see here if that is the beginning of a trend or if it's just a kind of a one-off for them there. Back to some more survival news here, Brian. We have got an update from 7 Days to Die. We have got the official Alpha 18, and we are no longer latest experimental. This is quick. This is what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
One of their faster turnarounds.
I think it was about 3 weeks. Alpha 18 stable is B155. It's out, and it is. We're not going to go into we've talked about all the features on previous episodes, but they believed, and by the way, it was incredibly stable. I didn't crash. I don't remember anybody in our group crashing. The server was rock solid. Zombies during the Horde nights, which have always been issues in the past, seemed to be solid. It was a really stable experimental build. And that's obviously why 3 weeks later it's on stable, because the bugs just weren't, and there are still bugs on it because it is still alpha. But it's not, there's no game breaking bugs. So cool stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So we, as we said, we had a really good experience with it. This should, if anything, be a little bit more stable. If you haven't tried it out since they came out the Alpha 18, definitely try it out. Launch it up. You should be able to do a normal. We were doing where you had to right click and go into settings and choose the latest experimental. Now you should be on the standard release.
Yes, sir.
And there is still a list of known issues. So if you're interested in that, or if you run into any bugs, there's probably a list of 25 to 30 known issues currently that you're going to see. So make sure you check that out if you run into any kind of problems.
And those are probably issues that have lingered for a while now.
Yeah. I assume that one female trader still has a low voice.
I can't, she does, but I can't imagine.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah, Trader Jen has a male voice, so that's still there.
Hey,
I don't understand. They could have why isn't the wife of somebody or
why don't you offer it? Why don't you do it?
I'm not a female. I can't do a female voice.
2019, bro. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah. I just don't understand why they don't have it's not that many lines.
Brian,
just give them a couple lines of text.
Give us your best female trader voice.
I am not right now. It's like this.
No, come on. So, give us your best female trader voice.
I'm not going to give you my best female trader
come
voice.
Buy our things. We're the trader. Come on.
Look at all my goods. They're delicious.
Oh, look at my goods. Yeah, that's exactly.
Pretty much that's what it is.
Oh, wow. Look at my goods. Confirmed. BrianInfectionPodcast.com if you have a problem with that. So
I know better. There's plenty of memes that we have enough memes of me, Nick. That you need to give them ammunition.
Next year in Seattle. All right. So yeah, that's fully as stable as it's going to be now. Go ahead and make sure you can download that and give it a try. We'll have current players here coming up about 25 minutes or so. We'll take a look at that. In other survival news, Brian, the evil empire of Mixer has struck again. First it was Ninja. Yes, done. Microsoft is, they ruin everything. But they purchased Ninja. They purchased this week. They purchased Shroud. Mm-hmm. It is rumored that Tfue, TTFUE, I think is his name, or whatever. He is tweeting that he tweeted like, Shroud, Ninja, who's next? ? And then Mixer tweeted at him with some memes, so he's probably going over there. This King Gothelion guy, I've never heard of him, but apparently he's very popular on Twitch. They've gotten him, they've purchased him, and brought him over to their platform. They have lost, outside of Dr. Disrespect, they have lost 2 of their top 3 biggest channels. Streamers, personalities. Shroud and Ninja. And then this King Gothelion guy and Tfue is huge as well. So at this, with that all being said, they could have, let's just call it top 10. They've lost half of their top 10 biggest personalities on the platform.
Yep. And so they're taking the Epic strategy.
Yeah, but now here's the
getting exclusives. They're pulling them in.
Now, Mark Cuban said something interesting in that video that fed right into this. He talked about Ninja going to Mixer because the interview was recorded a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he noted something very interesting in that, is that you can make, what was he making? $250,000, $500,000 a month. I mean, he was making a copious amount of money. But as Mark Cuban says, and as evident by Ninja, this guy is streaming 8 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's got no life. Yep. He's sitting in front of his computer for 8 to 12 hours a day.
So there must be a higher percentage of return from being on Mixer versus the money that visibly it seems like you're bringing in.
Or they're
giving them a certain amount of money just to even exist there.
Exactly. Yeah. So instead of streaming 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, he can stream 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, spend time with his wife and kids, and maybe make a couple $100,000 a year less. So these guys are buying, for all intents and purposes, they are buying the right to not have to kill themselves with the amount of content they're producing. I mean, I don't care how good you are at the game or how much money you're making. You can't tell me that Ninja and Shroud enjoyed sitting in front of a computer 8 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean,
I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe that.
Yeah. Now, how much of this also, one thing I was kind of thinking about, do you think part of this plays into the politics of Twitch? We see the politics of what's happening with Twitch, to where it's less about the games.
Yep.
It's becoming more about variety streaming and, all the other things that we could talk about.
IRL
banned from Twitch.
in real life, and then just chat,
body painting, and all the great things.
Well, they put a lot on creativity.
Do you think that they're realizing that Mixer is trying to capitalize and actually say, hey, I think what they're going to do is say, hey, we are actually the game streaming platform. Twitch is not. Twitch is for variety streamers.
I think that would be a good market for a good angle in the market for Mixer to take. We are a video game streaming service. We are not.
Yeah.
We are not shake your ass around and play Just Dance with booty shorts and a super tight crop top on.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what, I'm not bashing it, it's just the truth. That's what Twitch is. Yeah. And guess what? Those girls doing that stuff are making a boatload of money. Congratulations to them. They figured it out. More power to you.
Yep.
That's capitalism, baby. We love it. I love every second of it. And it's Twitch's right to promote those services, because guess what? People want to watch it. They play ads. They make money. The cycle repeats. It works. But if you're somebody that's not interested in that stuff, well, maybe there's some other things going on. But Twitch has morphed back into Justin TV, which is what they absorbed like 4 or 5 years ago, which Justin TV was an IRL variety streaming platform. Guys streaming them playing music and painting, riding their bikes, and that's what it was. I mean, I used to watch a guy that lived in Florida on Justin TV. He was a life caster, and he had like one of those netbooks and a webcam on his moped, and he would just drive around Florida. It was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, Chris Perillo, the whole gang. And now Twitch has become that again. It's funny to see that transition.
And that's and that's where I say, like, I'm not mad at Twitch, but Twitch needs to be open and honest about what they are.
I think
because they get so mad when well, no, they ban people when they point out certain things. It's like I've brought up, I don't know how many times, the emperor has no clothes as an analogy for this, where then they get pissed when you say, hey, here's what you're doing. Oh no, that's we're banning you.
Okay. Well, while I don't agree with them doing that, what I believe they're trying to do is stop infighting within the platform, right? They're trying to stop harassment in the platform. I don't think it's that they're not open to criticism. They don't want a partner Twitch streamer saying this girl over here is BS and fake. Don't go. They don't want their partners and platforms inside fighting.
I think at that level, though, it becomes 100% a business to these streamers.
Yeah, it is.
And they look at these people that are doing something different, that are pulling from their numbers, that are making it more difficult for them to make a profit, right? To be a successful streamer, where they're like, hey, look at all this work I'm putting in, and they don't feel like the other people are putting in that same work. When, you know what, they could be. There's probably some that are very business minded that are doing some of those things very purposely. But I think that's where you having Mixer come into it has a little bit of an option to turn around and say, hey, you want to play video games? We're that market.
Agreed.
We will bring people to watch you that are interested in watching people play video games and are interested in that specific thing.
I hope that's what they intend on doing. I look forward to a service that's got just that stuff on it. Not that I'm not interested in the girls shaking their behinds on Twitch, but it's just not what it's just not what that's not what I'm going to Twitch to look for. Okay, this is gonna sound wrong. There are other websites if that's what you're interested in. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, Twitch is not the best platform to watch hot chicks. Okay, but that's what they're morphing into, and that's what they're choosing their business model to be. Fine, but there are other. They're trying to be the best of video games.
They're trying to be the best website that your parents will let their kids go watch, where the kids can watch some things that are maybe a little bit sketchy, when they won't let them go to those other sites.
I mean, I'll tell you what, when I was young and at home and had a firewall on my computer at home, if I could have gone to Twitch and watched girls painting their naked bodies, I mean, oh my God. That would have been the greatest thing ever. No, all that stuff was blocked by some BS firewall.
Catalog. Here we go.
I mean, zip. I mean, so, but that's what I'm saying. That's what's that's what I find so weird is, so like, okay, there are those cam girl websites. That's what they do. That's where they make all their money. That's their platform. They guess they do that very well. That's their service. If they started doing pizza delivery, like, what the hell is this? Like, you're doing a mediocre job at this, and you're doing a mediocre job at delivering food. Yeah. Right? That's what I kind of see Twitch as their problem, is they're doing a half-assed job at being a video game service and a half-assed job at being Justin TV.
Yeah.
So the platform is in this weird mix where, what is it? When you
they've got to figure out which way they want to go and fully embrace that.
When you go to Amazon, you're going to buy something.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you go to Facebook or Twitter, you're going on there to use that social media platform. When you go to Twitch, I don't know, what are you going to do? Are you going to watch somebody play Fortnite? Fallout 76? Probably not. But, Call of Duty? Or are you going to watch some girl play Just Dance in tight clothing? That's a huge polar opposite on a platform. You're talking one that is essentially softcore porn and a AAA video game title that released 4 days ago. Like, that is a huge band of, and plus,
but if you look
Pokemon, Bob Ross paintings, game shows.
They're going more from a variety now, not for games. And that's where I think that Mixer has a better chance at saying we are that platform. And Twitch, I think Twitch is kind of accepting of that, because I think they realize that they make plenty of money from all these other things when they weren't before.
And my point is, there's no problem with the variety. I'm not saying there's an issue with it. BH is bringing sports. Thursday Night Football is on Twitch. I'm not saying that there's an issue with being a variety platform, but when I'm a gamer and want to go watch somebody play a video game and the front page is
half recommendations for all these crazy things.
Pokemon, they're playing all the series of Pokemon on the Twitch Presents channel, a Thursday night football game, and a podcast. None of those three things are video games. Like, it's way off the spectrum. So, as PH says, Twitch is turning into Justin TV, which is pretty ironic. I mean, I was a big fan of Justin TV. So, I personally don't care, but I can see as a gamer, especially as, you know, these bigger guys that are building a reputation on this platform, you look at what other creators are doing on that platform.
They're getting their numbers pulled away by the platform. The platform is advertising everyone away from you because they're not putting you on the front page, and now putting these ones that are making them more money.
Yeah. And rightfully so, because I guarantee you more people want to watch a beautiful girl on Twitch scantily dressed with playing a game that's a third of her screen, and her, you know, top down camera view being 2/3 of the screen, than watching some jerk off like us talk about video games.
Yeah.
Like it's a no-brainer. I don't fault Twitch for it, but as Shroud or Summit or Dr. Disrespect or all these other guys that have built their brand around Twitch.tv, that's what they want their platform to become into, because that's where they make the most money.
Yep.
And I don't fault them for it. It's just interesting to see. So,
but that's going to be very difficult to advertise on, and I think that because of their Amazon affiliation and you know, people throwing money, that they're getting a high percentage of a fee for. That is what's keeping them alive, not advertisements. Where I think Mixer is going to rely on advertisements and saying, hey, we are bringing you actual gamers. They're going to purchase things. They're not 12-year-olds coming in and, you know, trying to sneakily watch something. It's going to be people that actually are playing video games. That is going to be a more reliable demographic to market to.
I gifted her a sub. She
must respond to me?
She must love me. What do you mean, Brian? You're telling me my $2.99 a month doesn't make this Twitch streamer love me? By the way, we love all of our people that give us their Twitch Prime or other Prime subs. We love you. We actually love you. You can have my Snapchat.
Nick writes letters to them all the time.
I'll give you my Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat, but I'll give it to you. So there you go.
You can even write us an email, nick@infectionpodcast.com.
Yeah, please do. Tell me who your favorite Twitch streamers are. I'd be very curious to hear your recommendations.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, USAF Zombie comes to Twitch to feel loved. Oof. Yeah. Well, okay.
So
yeah, there's got to be other
looking at our show notes.
Yeah, Brian, I am.
So the thing is we've touched 1/5 or less of the show notes.
Our show notes this week are like almost 2.5 pages.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know.
Okay, well, let's talk about some timely things. We've got a couple things that are timely here. We got an update from Last of Us Part 2. And there's a delay, Brian. This is not a good look. No,
it's been delayed till May. Isn't that correct?
Yeah,
I think what they said.
That's what it's looking like.
So that's the game that I purchased my PlayStation to play.
Boy, you got shafted.
The Last of Us. Well, no, I got it for The Last of Us in preparation for when they did another Last of Us and another Red Dead. And so this is one that now is going to be coming out in May. Okay, so we remember
it was
a lot of these articles
to
talking about crunch and everything else of the developers. This allows them to finish everything on their level of satisfaction, which I'm fine with. I'd rather have that than shortcuts, and also reduce stress on the team, which they don't want to. They saw probably all the flack that Rockstar got, and various companies get for doing a crunch like developers do at the end of a project, and so now they're delaying it out so that they don't feel the stress.
So they're delaying it by 2 months. It was supposed to come out in February. Now it's coming out in the end of May, like the 20th or something.
I wonder, it'd be interesting to see if it's what it is. I think this is better than if we look at Division 2. Remember how unpolished that was at release?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have something delay 2 months and actually come out ready than have something like Division 2.
Okay. Counterpoint. 2 months, 60 days is not 60 days, right? I mean, it's you work 5 days a week. So it's 45 at the best. Is this game really, what are they going to be able to do in 45 games? Or excuse me, what are they going to be able to do in 45 days? Right? Like if the game isn't finished, is 45 days enough for you to finish an entire game? I mean, it's October 29th. We're talking about 6 months from now. Is 45 days, is that going to give them enough time just to polish it, or is there a serious time issue?
Well, the main thing I'm kind of curious of is if this is coming down to, remember the gold certifications and things for consoles, if they are like, well, we can get it done by this date, but we need this many days to be able to get certified and verify that we don't have to send something back.
60 days,
delay the game. I mean, this may be giving them that buffer of window time.
Gotcha. Cool.
So
yeah,
I think that might be it.
Yep, not the best news necessarily, but news nevertheless, and an update on that game there, which is one of the most probably going to be, will likely probably be the game of the year for 2020. If not, it's definitely the most highly anticipated game of the year so far. Incredibly popular. So,
well, and one thing, I think that they're going to have to, because this is a big title that if it failed on launch, like that would be a big thing. People, the first Last of Us did so well and was so well thought of, they have to match that. And so I think that they have to be careful not to come out and have something that has game-breaking bugs and really ruins their reputation.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It is it's weird because it depends on I'm not familiar with I'm not familiar with Naughty Dog as much as I was with Rockstar, right? When Red Dead Redemption delayed, I was like, oh, that's great, right? They're going to use this extra time. Everything's going to be great. I don't have that same confidence with Naughty Dog, and I don't know if that's because of ignorance or just, I guess it's just ignorance. I don't know. When I heard Red Dead Redemption was delaying by 3 months or 2 months or whatever they did, I was like, fucking great. This will be great. Yep. The game will be perfect on launch. It was pretty good. I just don't feel the same way about this, and I don't know why that is. So,
well, yeah, and we'll see. The game is going to be great. It's a single player game, so they need to get it polished the first time because it's not something you want fixed over time.
No, especially single player games. Yeah.
Well, how about we kind of go through some things very quickly because we are. So there was an announcement on Twitter about a Left 4 Dead / Dying Light kind of collab.
Yeah.
To where it looks like inside of, I assume, Dying Light, you're going to have some Left 4 Dead skins and models.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, they're calling it Dying Light X Left 4 Dead.
Across, I don't know. Yeah, who knows what they're trying to go with that. So that's something to look forward to. So they're doing a little bit of a collab. Also, I was going to mention that Epic has sued one of their testers who leaked a bunch of the Chapter 2 secrets. Now, there's people, before you jump onto Epic and say, hey, how could you do this? That's a jerk thing to do. They signed NDAs for a reason, and if they didn't enforce that, everyone would break an NDA. So this is something that they have done before. Last year, they sued a tester for revealing information about Season 4. So if you sign an NDA, well, perhaps you should stick to it because they legally have every right to sue you.
Whoops.
Also, yeah, whoops. Humble Bundle has announced what they're calling Humble Bundle Choice. So this is replacing Humble Bundle Monthly.
Really?
There's a video if you want to play that, and this will describe it.
Yeah, let me get
in more detail.
Get this loaded up here.
Yeah, but this is replacing the Humble Bundle Monthly. It will now become Humble Bundle Choice, and it will no longer have secret items.
Gotcha. All right, here we go.
calling all Humble Monthly subscribers. We're cooking up a fresh way to enjoy new games. Humble Monthly is becoming Humble Choice. With Humble Choice, subscribers will get to choose their games every month. But if you are a monthly subscriber when Choice launches, you'll get the Classic plan. That means 10 games every month, access to the Humble Trove, up to 20% off the store, and 5% goes to charity. Plus, no changes to what you pay today, just more games. As long as you stay subscribed, you'll get our Classic plan. Humble Choice, coming later this year.
Cool. Interesting move, giving us the choice to choose what games we want.
Now, one thing, if you lock into the Classic, so pretty much if you have Humble Bundle Monthly right now, make sure you go to our website and click our link.
Yes, please do.
You can go through and you can get all 10 games for that price.
It's a good
so you
sham
pay the
to
same
run.
price. And so you get locked into it. You get all 10 games. Otherwise, you get 9 games if you did premium, 3 games with the basic, and no games with the light, but you get the Humble Trove and then the store discount.
The premium is $20 a month for 9 games. That's a lot. It's way more than it is right now.
Well, and then for 130, but for 132 a year, if you lock into the Classic right now, you get 10 games a month.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a good deal. This is a very good way to force people to buy things they don't need.
Yeah,
because the price difference between the
you're like,
old...
I see. I renewed mine just to get locked into the Classic plan.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then it worked perfectly.
I paid for a year.
Yeah, and then I mean the system worked perfectly. I mean success. Good marketing.
PH is like, well, are we going to play these games? No, but I give them away for this podcast that I do.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
thank you for your courage.
Yeah.
So go if you want to check this out and go sign up for it. You can do so. Links on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Oh man, I'm gonna make a poor financial decision and buy this. I'm not gonna play these games. I don't play any games I have now. But tell you what, man, $12 a month.
10 games a month though. There's got to be something.
Probably not.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, okay. Interesting news. Cool stuff from Humble Bundle.
Yeah, so that was definitely a change.
We appreciate them. They're super cool to us as small partners that we are. They're super cool and super easy to work with.
Yep.
Pay on time.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
So one other thing, Overwatch, there was an announcement that there's going to be Overwatch 2, which features PvE, new map, and at least one new hero. So I'm assuming 2.0. Is that what they're? I mean, it's pretty much going to be Overwatch with some additional features.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess they're kind of following suit with Fortnite and saying, "Hey, Fortnite 2."
Bingo.
But this is something that would be interesting to see how they. I mean, they've got with their story and with their characters. There's a lot of lore and personality to their characters. I think they're trying to kind of optimize that, and so. You'll notice that it says Overwatch and then it has a 2 to the right of it. So it's the same Overwatch symbol with a 2 attached. So we'll see when that actually comes out. A lot of people do play Overwatch, but will they play it for a single player story?
No.
I'm not sure.
No.
Other games that I'm pretty much just going to announce games that had updates. Astroneer, they came out with their Groundwork update. And so if you're interested in that, make sure you go and check it out. This was released on October 24th. They added a lot of various like paver and horns and just different things for inside of the game. Also a list of bug fixes that they were able to do. We had on their ROE with one update. And so this one was just a fix, a couple of fixes, and then some little tweaks to gameplay. We also had Rust, which we'll have a link to Shadowprax's video if you want to go check that out, with some different changes that they made. There wasn't an official update though. Xera put out a hot fix for 5.1 hotfix. They put out their 5.0 in the last couple of weeks with a lot of their Halloween things, and now they put out the hot fix, which has, I think, 5 or 6 fixes in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing that, you should have noticed that. Rocket League came out with their 1.6.9 patch, and this is just 3 bug fixes and then adjustment to some of the look of the film grain. Conan Exiles, they put out an update, and this one I think was just mostly performance and exploit fixes, no content additions that I could see on there. Atlas, they came out with a couple of patches. The previous patch that we did was 400.57. Their latest is 400.62. And so mostly just fixes through all of those. No actual content. Arc came out with their 300.1 patch, which was 4 fixes. And then they had their 300.3 patch, which was 2 fixes. So no new content. They are doing their Halloween thing on there. Scum, on the other hand, they are doing a contest for base building thing. I don't know if you want to play the video for it, but they're doing a base building contest. And so, or they did a base building contest. If you want to see the winners of that, some of them, they went through and did kind of like a circling video that showed as it was being built.
It's pretty cool.
You know, how they built it, but they have videos for each of those if you want to go see some of the ways that you can do base building inside of Scum, since that is a little bit of a newer feature since we played it. Unturned, they came out with an update. This is 3.19.6.0, and of course they implemented their Halloween patch, so until November 1st, so you have a couple of days to go do that. They have some decorations and things for Halloween. One of the bigger things they did was they updated to the Unity 2018.4 release, so that's very current for Unity from a year ago's patch of their Unity version, which is going to give you just some optimizations and some improvements. And other than that, they did a lot of fixes for Unturned. Jaws of Extinction, they did a pretty big patch this past week. And this is one where, I mean, they've touched the map. They've been reworking a lot of player stuff, reworking the main menus and the lighting, weapons. They did a lot of things. So if you're watching that, make sure you go and update it and go launch it to check it out. Our favorite game, Outlaws of the Old West, came out with their 1.2.9 patch, which is actually an event, which is a Bigfoot hunt. So they've been having this thing where you have to hunt Bigfoot in the game, and they've been doing that in kind of stages. So if you're interested, you get things from kind of following the mystery. One thing they did put in here is a massive service performance increase, and lots of fixes. So if you haven't played that for a while, maybe go check it out. Another one is The Long Dark. They are doing a special event as well. They did do a patch that has a bunch of fixes in it, but also they're doing their 4 days of night, which I think you have to get on here pretty soon. But they have a special one where there's just, the game mode kind of changes over the days. So if you're interested in that, make sure you launch it and try it out. But that's 4 days of night. I think it started on Sunday. So does that mean it'll go for another day or two? I'm not sure. It goes through October 31st. There we go. So you have 2 days to be a part of that. I think that was it. I was like running through all the patches. But
yes, sir.
That's the news in 10 minutes.
Well, that's the news, but you missed out on a huge one, Brian. I'm very disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
The Steam Halloween sale is ongoing right now.
Oh, yeah. That was the very top.
Yeah, so this is going on till November 1st. So you've got a couple days to get on in here and get all this stuff bought and pull out your wallet for Gaben. You can see what's on here. People broadcasting, of course. That's what everybody wants. God, get off my screen, damn it. The Blackout Club. This is a game we actually saw at PAX 2 years ago, right? That was the. That was them. It's kind of the. All this crazy stuff goes on.
That's the one where it was like it was the kids and it was the parents at night would kind of turn into zombies in a way, and like they're trying to figure out this mystery of what's happening.
Yep. So that's on sale for $23. 7 Days to Die, 66% off. I mean, for $8.50, you're a jackass if you don't buy this game. I mean, it's a fantastic.
If you don't have it, get it now.
Dead by Daylight, half off, $10. The Forest, 40% off, $11.99. This is a great one, Brian. Friday the 13th, the game is 50% off. Can you believe that? 50% off? I mean, oh my God.
Worth it?
I mean, I'm gonna go buy a second copy right now. It's such a good deal.
You can play it on each 2 computers.
Yeah.
Time.
Now I will say it's got mostly positive reviews recently and overall. So I mean, somebody's playing it.
Who knows?
Do I have that on my current player sheet?
Now, okay, so I do take this back though. Another dev studio took it over.
Yeah, but I
and
thought
has
but they're not doing updates.
But they're making it work correctly for what it is.
Okay.
So it may work better. It may work much better. A whole different studio took it over, so it may be just fine.
Okay. Well, we'll have current players coming up here in a matter of minutes. So yeah, there's that. There's a couple of other games as well. A bunch of DLCs on sale. A couple of horror games, Limbo, Myst, Dead Island. Myst created for some reason is listed as horror. I don't really see how that works. A bunch of VR games are on sale as well. So, you know, I got the. Oh, by the way, Alan Wake is 73% off. Alan Wake's a really good game. Yeah. If you've never played Alan Wake, that's a fantastic game. So check it out. Steam Halloween sale. Unfortunately, as we've stated in the past, these sales are all kind of the same. And once you buy all the big top games, you know, you get a bunch of games for like $3. But
Soma's a good game. I mean, very interesting game. Left 4 Dead 2, if you don't have it for $1.99.
I mean,
you can't.
I don't know how you're not already owning
it already.
Yeah. Yeah. Alan Wake's an awesome game. I think I'm gonna buy and play it again. I played it on the Xbox 360 back in the day.
Yeah.
Alan Wake's a great game. So,
with some good games, make sure you go check them out.
Yep, go check it out. Just Steam homepage is where you'll find it.
Very good.
All right. What else we got?
I think that's it for actual news.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Well, with that being the case, let's go ahead and take a look at some current players. Let's take a look. Currently playing Ark Survival Evolved, 23,226. The 24-hour peak, 36,967, with a 7-day peak, 51,737. Let's move on over to Rust. Currently playing 27,799. The 24-hour peak, 42,910, with a 7-day peak. Wow, 69,201. Fantastic numbers from Rust. Let's take a look at 7 Days to Die. Alpha 18 is now out. Currently playing 19,606. The 24-hour peak, 24,611. And the 7-day peak, 31,668. Now, Brian, got a question for you. How many people are currently playing Friday the 13th? It's very positive on
72.
Steam. It's on sale. No, come on. Higher than that.
Okay. 235.
Double.
512?
No, 424. The 24-hour peak is 720. I don't know how the 70 peak is 580. I guess the 24-hour peak doesn't show up until the next day on the chart. So, yeah, there you go. We should try it. Game of the week soon. You sound like a Minecraft NPC. As you're murdering,
I mean, maybe it's better. Maybe
as you're murdering their entire village and taking all of their belongings. That's
I have such a limited amount of time I can actually play video games now, and I just feel like if we're gonna play that one, it's just
What do you got going? What do you?
I'd rather play something else.
What do you got going on?
Enjoyable.
I mean, you're just a podcaster.
Yeah, and I just have no time anymore.
All right, well, I mean, I'm playing it.
So let's play a fun game.
Like what?
Call of Duty.
We're playing Call of Duty this week. All right. Okay. Fine. We'll do Jesus. We'll do Friday the 13th. Soon TM. Oh, by the way, we didn't dress up for the Halloween shows. That would have been today.
I know. I had an outfit and everything, but I didn't have time.
Really?
Yeah, I got a Jedi outfit.
Did you go to a Halloween party?
No, I have one. I have one on Halloween. Yes.
You're going to a Halloween party?
Yeah.
Are you going to send a picture in Discord?
Maybe.
Please?
Okay, I'll send a picture.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, you didn't send me an invite.
So the thing is, I walked in pretty much from my car.
I know. I saw that.
I locked up the pigs. I came, turned on the camera and the mic.
You know, I haven't been to a Halloween party in a long. I haven't been to a Halloween party in a long time.
It's time to find somebody to go to a Halloween party for.
It's too late.
Maybe that you could look on local whatever's. You got to wander the streets to find
Facebook dating. So we talked about in the post show last week.
Oh yeah, you can say, I just need someone a date for a Halloween party. Do you have a Halloween party?
What would I dress up as? I don't have any costumes.
I know it's a little bit late now. You got to go find one. Mine's pretty legit. It's a nice Jedi outfit.
That was you're spending your money on?
Got spent somewhere.
All right, let's get out of here, Brian. Do this game.
All right.
Giveaway. Actually, no, sorry. Do the tip of the week.
How about we talk about this thing called tip of the week?
What's the point at this? I mean, we're so far down the rabbit hole. I mean, podcast host. Yeah, hey.
Yeah. Well, how about tip of the week where I go through and you either give a general gaming tip or one about a specific game. Since we'll be doing a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare this week, that'll be tip of the week. All right, so in Call of Duty, one of the things that really help you in the game is getting to know your gunsmith options. And there's a lot of weapon attachments as you start to level up your weapons. They really affects how each of those weapons operate. So for instance, they have muzzles, barrels, lasers, optics, stocks, underbarrels, various ammunition types, rear grips, and then perks that you can do. And so when you select each of these, you can look at the buffs versus the debuffs and try to balance your weapon to how you want it to perform. One example is I have one that's a lever action. And if I put certain additionals on there, it makes it towards not a one-shot kill. And then you get killed while you're trying to reload to do the second shot. So you can really balance that weapon to be something that works better. They do have, if you do a digital purchase, they have a weapon that you can load that has all the attachments right away already added to it. I think you have to be level 5 or something like that to be able to unlock it. But it is a legendary blueprint, I think is what they refer to it as. So make sure you go in and unlock that, because that will give you an M4 that has all of the top level attachments already on it. One thing that you also can do in this game is adjust your loadouts inside while you're playing. So if you hit escape between deaths, you can actually adjust your loadout and kind of figure out what you want. So that is tip of the week.
All right, I've got my Halloween costume. Is this enough of a costume? A beer hat? Will this suffice as a costume? Would you invite me to your party with me dressed as this?
No, I think you need to get a little bit more. Don't you have something like a?
I have a flamingo suit.
There you go, a flamingo suit and a beer hat. That'll work perfect.
I mean, I think this would work. I mean, I'm gonna post a picture right now on Facebook Dating and see what's going on. Available to come to your party on Thursday. We'll bring Bud Light.
I'm the life of the party.
Yeah. I have severe anxiety. Please don't talk to me.
Professional podcaster.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Well, makes me sad.
All right. Yeah, you should have gone to a party. All right. Let's.
Hey. Oh, geez. The week is still young.
I know you still have a couple days to meet someone and find a party.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, so let's go ahead and close this up. And we will draw a winner. Congratulations, it's Jonesy. You have won, and you have won a copy of Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus, whatever that is.
Oh, he'll like this. This is his kind of game.
Yeah, it's a good person to win that game because he will enjoy it. So, and I will send that to you on Discord.
Excellent. If you weren't here live, you should be here live Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch, YouTube Live, and on Mixer. Thank you for joining us, everybody, live. Congratulations to Jonesy. And I want to quickly thank, before we get out of here this evening, our buddy Bobby J for hitting us up with the, I believe it was the 6 or 7 month resubscription here on Twitch. Let's see, how many months? Come on. 6 months. Bobby J, thank you very much for that. We appreciate it, as well as our friend Gaudamus, who hit us up with the subscription. I think it's the first time sub on that. So cool stuff. Thanks, everybody, for that. And we really do appreciate it. And it helps support the program. It allows us to do some of the cool things you do, like run game servers and things like that. So other than that, a lot of news, Brian. Appreciate you doing everything, as always, for the preparation with the show notes. And we'll see you Friday for Call of Duty. and then next week again for another program.
Very good. Well, hey, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, my blog, biteoftech.com, and make sure you go to our website, infectionpodcast.com. On the right-hand side there, join the Discord server, and you could submit news, hang out while we do our game of the week, and just chat throughout the week. Also, we have our Steam group to get notifications of our live show. If you happen to be sitting at your computer, you'll get a little notification. You can join us live and be a part of the show. We have our YouTube link, our Mixer link. We have our Twitch link on there. We have all the audio forms in the lower right, so whichever platform you might happen to be. We have our show notes for every single episode. So if you're interested in watching one of the videos or looking at one of the articles we're referring to, those are all in the show notes. And then to support us. So you can support us here on Twitch through the Amazon Prime subscriptions. Those are great. Also, there's the Humble Bundle. If you're going to resubscribe to the Humble Bundle, make sure you click our link first. And then Amazon. Maybe you're going to be buying some things for the holidays. Click our link first, and then that gives us credit. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Brian. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you're Halloweening, as Brian will be, make sure everybody stays safe. Don't get like hit by a car or something. That would suck. I know you'll be out trick-or-treating with all the kids, Brian.
I'm sure that's what going to be.
So thanks again, Brian, and we will see you next week. Alrighty, folks, thank you for joining me. Hopefully you like my costume here. My headphones are like, I can't hear anything. They're so disconnected from my ears. So this is going to be an interesting end of the show. If you missed any portion of the show, links, videos, show notes, all that fun stuff is on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.